Have you ever listened to someone's explanation and felt uncertain not because you had proof, but because something didn't quite add up? Detecting deceit. Clarify. Protect boundaries calmly. In this video, we'll focus on what works in practice: baseline behavior, clusters of cues, and better questions. Before we start, 2 important points. First, no single behavior proves someone is lying. Second, many so-called lying signs you've heard, like looking away, means lying or unreliable. People look away when they think, when they're anxious, when they're tired, or when they come from cultures where direct eye contact is different. Disclaimer: no single behavior proves someone is lying. Stress, anxiety, culture, neurodiversity, trauma, and health can affect communication. Use these tips to guide respectful conversations, not to accuse. For high-stakes situations, seek professional advice. Baseline. Context change. The most overlooked skill is establishing a baseline. A baseline is simply, how does this person normally communicate when they feel comfortable and truthful? Do they speak quickly or slowly? Are they naturally expressive or reserved? Do they use lots of detail, or do they keep things brief? When people are stressed, their behavior changes. But stress alone doesn't tell you why. So instead of watching for tells, watch for changes from their normal pattern. Ask yourself, what changed? When did it change? And what might explain that change besides deception? Look for clusters, not clues. A single cue is noise. A cluster of cues, several changes that align, may be a signal. For example, a sudden shift in detail level, inconsistent timing, and a defensive reaction to a neutral question. Even then, it's still not proof. It's simply a prompt to clarify. Professionally, your goal is not to label someone a liar. Your goal is to improve the accuracy of the information you're working with. Next, listen carefully to language. Not for one magic phrase, but for patterns. Here are 3 common ones. Vague statements, overly polished stories, missing key details. 1. Vagueness. If someone avoids basic specifics, who, when, where, what, without a clear reason, that's worth clarifying. 2. An overly polished story. Sometimes people deliver a narrative that sounds rehearsed, perfectly structured, emotionally detached, and resistant to follow-up questions. 3. Missing key details. People can talk a lot, but still omit the core facts you actually need. A professional approach is simple. Don't accuse. Ask for structure. Start mid-story. Reverse order. Ask specifics. Of the most useful techniques is the timeline test. Ask the person to describe the event in a different order, either starting from the middle or going backwards. Truthful memories are usually easier to replay from different entry points. Fabricated stories can become inconsistent when you change the sequence. Just to make sure I'm understanding, could you start from what happened right after you arrived, and then walk me back to what happened before that? Notice the tone. Neutral, respectful, and focused on clarity. Mismatch may signal stress. Ask why. Another area is incongruence, when the words don't match the delivery. For example, someone says they're calm, but their voice is shaky, or they claim something is unimportant, but they become unusually defensive. Be careful here. Incongruence can come from anxiety, trauma, cultural norms, or neurodiversity. Treat it as a prompt to ask a supportive question, not as a verdict. I may be misreading this. This seems stressful. What part feels most difficult to explain? Stress signals is not equal to lies. Body language is often misunderstood. Fidgeting, avoiding eye contact, or crossing arms can indicate discomfort. But discomfort isn't the same as deception. Focus on changes from baseline. Sudden stillness, unusual over-control, or a noticeable shift in energy when a specific topic comes up. Use body language as context only. Your strongest tool is still your questioning strategy. If you want to detect possible deception reliably, stop hunting for tells and start asking better questions. Here are 4 professional prompts. 1. Walk me through it, step by step. 2. What happened right before that? 3. Who else was present, and what did they do? 4. What happened next exactly? These questions increase detail and structure. Then use calm silence. People often fill silence with extra information. You don't need to pressure, just pause and listen. Ask pause to listen. Even when you notice inconsistencies, keep your response professional. Accusations trigger defensiveness and reduce clarity. Use language that invites correction. I might be misunderstanding. Can you clarify? Help me understand the timeline. What would make this easy to verify? Let's align on the facts we're sure about. This keeps the conversation factual, and it gives honest people room to explain without shame. Verify calmly. Keep records. Set boundaries. In professional settings, verification matters more than intuition. If something is important, money, safety, reputation, verify with evidence. Check messages, timestamps, receipts, written notes, or third-party confirmation. If inconsistencies continue, set boundaries. You can say, "Until we confirm this, I can't proceed," or "I need this in writing." No single behavior proves lying. Use patterns plus context plus respectful questions. Let's summarize. 1. Establish a baseline. 2. Look for clusters, not single signs. 3. Test the timeline gently. 4. Ask structured questions and use calm silence. 5. Verify with evidence and set boundaries when needed. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching. Follow for part 2 on verifying claims, handling manipulation, and protecting yourself professionally without escalating conflict. See you soon.